There are places on Earth that do not exist in human memory, yet feel as if they were present long before the first dreams were ever formed. In these lands, volcanoes still breathe, deserts hold their silence, ice drifts slowly, and the night sky glows in ways no city could ever replicate. Nature does not rush to reveal its beauty, allowing time, geology, and isolation to tell the story in their own rhythm. With every step forward, humanity learns to listen, realizing that this world moves by ancient laws far beyond human control. And within these natural wonders, we come to understand that true beauty does not need to be created, only discovered. Lake Servagsvatn appears on the Faroe Islands as the largest freshwater lake in the archipelago, positioned on a coastal plateau above the North Atlantic. The lake stretches about 2 miles in length and rests on ancient basalt formed by long-term volcanic activity. Along its western edge, cliffs nearly 130 feet high drop directly into the ocean, creating a strong visual contrast between lake and sea. The apparent illusion of a suspended lake results from gentle inland slopes and restricted viewing angles rather than a large difference in elevation. With its clear structure and preserved setting, Lake Servagsvatn serves as a practical reference for studying coastal basalt landscapes, marine erosion, and visual perception in natural terrain. Glowworm caves form beneath limestone plateaus in New Zealand as a karst cave system shaped by groundwater dissolution and slow subterranean flow. Dense populations of bioluminescent insect larvae attach to the cave ceiling, producing steady blue light used for prey attraction in total darkness. Sticky silk threads suspended from the roof reflect direct interaction between cave humidity, air stability, and feeding strategy. With clear karst structure and specialized ecology, glowworm caves serve as a practical reference for studying limestone cave evolution and biological adaptation underground. Mount Nemrut rises in southeastern Turkey as a high mountain summit deliberately shaped by large-scale stone construction integrated with natural terrain. The peak stands at roughly 7,050 feet above sea level and is capped by a massive conical mound built from millions of broken limestone fragments. Around the mound stand monumental stone statues that originally reached heights of about 26 to 30 feet, arranged in alignment with the surrounding landscape. Strong winds, frost, and temperature extremes gradually fractured the statues, exposing their internal structure and material composition. With its isolated setting and clear interaction between geology and construction, Mount Nemrut serves as a key reference for studying stone architecture in high-altitude environments. Dead Vlei lies within a closed desert basin in Namibia as a dry clay pan formed when ancient surface water was cut off by shifting dunes. The flat white floor consists of fine clay sediments deposited during brief flooding phases and later isolated by sand movement. Preserved dead camel thorn trees mark the period when stable water once supported vegetation before evaporation dominated. Surrounding dunes rising hundreds of feet act as barriers that limit moisture return and airflow. With its clear material contrast and intact processes, Dead Vlei serves as a practical reference for studying desert basin evolution and extreme aridity. Wadi Rum spreads across southern Jordan as a vast desert valley shaped by tectonic uplift and long-term wind erosion. Covering more than 270 square miles, the area features towering sandstone and granite massifs rising sharply from a flat, sandy floor. Steep cliffs, dry canyons, and natural rock arches reveal selective erosion that removed softer material while preserving resistant cores. Red sand, formed from weathered iron, rich sandstone, dominates the valley's surface under an extremely arid climate. With its scale and exposed geology, Wadi Rum serves as a clear reference for studying desert landform evolution and rock weathering processes. Aogashima Island appears in the Pacific Ocean as a rare volcanic island defined by a double caldera structure nested within a compact land area. The island measures about 2 miles across and rises to nearly 1,390 feet above sea level, formed through successive eruptive phases. Steep outer cliffs surround the island, while a younger volcanic cone occupies the central depression. Subtle geothermal emissions indicate that volcanic heat remains present beneath the surface. With its clear morphology and complete volcanic framework, Aogashima Island serves as a practical reference for studying caldera evolution and layered volcanic construction. Icefjord Ilulissat extends along the west coast of Greenland as a glacial fjord where massive ice blocks are continuously discharged into the ocean. The fjord stretches for about 25 miles and reaches depths of several hundred feet, carved by long-term ice flow into resistant bedrock. Large icebergs become trapped within the narrow channel, forming a dense and slow-moving ice system. Ice motion reflects the balance between inland ice accumulation and calving at the glacier front. With its scale and active ice transport, Icefjord Ilulissat serves as a clear reference for studying glacier dynamics and polar landscape evolution. Mount Kailash rises in western China as an isolated high mountain with a near-symmetrical granite profile shaped by tectonic uplift. The peak reaches an elevation of about 270 feet, standing above surrounding terrain that eroded at a slower rate. Resistant igneous and metamorphic rock preserves steep faces and sharp ridgelines over long periods. Glacial valleys and erosion channels around the base record repeated freeze-thaw and ice-driven removal of material. With its exposed structure and clear geomorphic processes, Mount Kailash serves as a strong reference for studying high mountain evolution and uplift erosion balance. Mount Bromo stands within a broad volcanic caldera in Indonesia as an active cone with an exposed crater that allows direct observation of volcanic processes. The volcano rises to about 700–600 feet above sea level and sits on an ash-filled plain formed by repeated eruptive phases. Its crater spans several hundred feet in diameter and continuously releases sulfur-rich gases and steam. Surrounding surfaces consist of fresh volcanic ash and sand with minimal vegetation, preserving eruptive features in clear detail. With its ongoing activity and accessible structure, Mount Bromo serves as a practical reference for studying eruption dynamics and volcanic gas behavior. Kelimutu Crater Lakes sit on the summit of a dormant volcano in Indonesia as three closely spaced crater lakes known for their shifting water colors. The lakes lie at an elevation of roughly 5,200 feet, where volcanic gases and groundwater continue to interact beneath the surface. Variations in dissolved minerals, oxygen levels, and sulfur-rich gases drive changes in lake color over time. The absence of surface outlets allows chemical conditions within each basin to evolve independently. With observable color transitions and active subsurface processes, Kelimutu crater lakes serve as a clear reference for studying volcanic lake chemistry and gas-driven environmental change. Dalol lies within a tectonic depression in Ethiopia as an active hydrothermal field driven by shallow volcanic heat. The area sits about 410 feet below sea level, where magma heats saline groundwater near the surface. Acidic springs, multicolored pools, and salt terraces form through rapid mineral precipitation of sulfur, iron, and salts. Extreme heat and minimal rainfall promote intense evaporation and chemical concentration. With visible magma-water interaction and ongoing surface processes, Dalol serves as a clear reference for studying hydrothermal systems and extreme geochemistry. Lake Kendi lies in the Tian Shan Mountains of southeastern Kazakhstan as a freshwater lake created suddenly by earthquake-triggered landslide blockage. The lake sits at roughly 6,600 feet above sea level, formed when a massive rock collapse dammed a narrow valley stream. Rising water submerged a conifer forest, leaving upright tree trunks projecting through the lake's surface. Cold water temperatures slow biological decay and preserve submerged wood in clear condition. With its rapid formation and visible cores, Lake Kendi serves as a clear reference for studying landslide lakes and post-seismic landscape change. Skeleton Coast stretches along the Atlantic edge of Namibia as a harsh shoreline, where arid desert meets cold ocean conditions. The coast is strongly influenced by a cold offshore current that lowers air temperatures and produces persistent fog for much of the year. Sand dunes, gravel beaches, and exposed rock surfaces dominate the landscape, shaped continuously by strong winds and powerful waves. Prolonged dryness limits vegetation growth, leaving landforms and erosion features clearly visible. With its extreme setting and stable natural processes, Skeleton Coast serves as a key reference for studying coastal dynamics, ocean-climate interaction, and desert shoreline evolution. Mount Taranaki rises along the west coast of New Zealand's North Island as a near-perfectly symmetrical stratovolcano shaped by repeated volcanic eruptions. The mountain reaches an elevation of about 8,300 feet and is built from layered lava flows and volcanic ash deposited over long periods of activity. Evenly sloping sides indicate uniform distribution of eruptive material, while rainfall and ice have only moderately dissected the surface. A circular ring of forest surrounds the lower slopes, marking a sharp transition in terrain and soil conditions. With its clear structure and preservation, Mount Taranaki serves as a strong reference for studying stratovolcano formation and cone evolution. Lake Bogoria extends within Kenya's Rift Valley as a shallow saline lake shaped by active tectonics and geothermal processes. The lake stretches for about 21 miles and sits near 3,150 feet above sea level, with water levels controlled by rainfall and intense evaporation. Numerous hot springs and geysers line the shoreline, releasing mineral-rich water and steam through deep crustal fractures. High salinity and alkalinity limit biological diversity but support dense growth of specialized microorganisms. With its direct link between rifting, geothermal heat, and lake chemistry, Lake Bogoria serves as a clear reference for studying inland saline lakes and earth crust heat exchange. Baatra Gorge opens in northern Lebanon as a massive karst sinkhole where surface water drains directly into an underground system. The shaft reaches a depth of roughly 840 feet, formed by long-term dissolution and collapse of layered limestone. A seasonal waterfall plunges through the cavity, crossing 3 natural rock bridges that reveal distinct carbonate bedding. With its clear geometry and active karst processes, Baatra Gorge serves as a strong reference for studying sinkhole formation and vertical erosion in limestone terrain. Perito Moreno Glacier lies in southern Argentina as a major Patagonian glacier that maintains a clear balance between ice accumulation and melt. The glacier extends for about 19 miles and reaches ice thicknesses of up to 820 feet as it flows downslope toward a freshwater lake. Its front forms an ice wall nearly 200 feet high, where frequent carving releases large ice blocks into the water. Continuous ice flow reflects internal deformation and basal sliding driven by gravity. With its stable dynamics and visible carving processes, Perito Moreno Glacier serves as a clear reference for studying glacier motion and ice mass balance. Huashan Plank Walk runs along sheer granite cliffs in China as a narrow wooden pathway anchored directly into vertical rock faces. The route lies above 6,500 feet in elevation, where tectonic uplift and long-term erosion created near vertical mountain walls. Wooden planks are secured into drilled rock sockets, transferring load to the solid granite foundation. With its exposed construction and direct attachment to bedrock, Huashan Plank Walk serves as a clear reference for studying human access solutions in steep alpine terrain. Saklikent Gorge extends through southwestern Turkey as a narrow limestone canyon carved by long-term water erosion. The gorge runs for about 11 miles, with near-vertical walls rising close to 1,000 feet above the channel. Cold flowing water occupies much of the canyon floor, restricting horizontal space and emphasizing vertical incision. Layered limestone bedrock dissolves gradually, allowing fractures to widen and deepen over time. With active hydraulic processes and clearly exposed rock structure, Saklikent Gorge serves as a practical reference for studying limestone canyon formation and fluvial erosion dynamics. Karijini Gorges cut through the Pilbara Plateau of Australia as a network of deep canyons carved into some of the continent's oldest rock. The gorges reach depths of around 330 feet, formed as water exploited fractures and gradually eroded hard iron-rich bedrock. Exposed rock walls display folded and fractured sedimentary layers that record early tectonic history. Seasonal streams continue to incise the canyon floors and create narrow pools within the rock. With ancient geology and active fluvial processes, Karijini Gorges serve as a clear reference for studying canyon formation in hard rock terrain. Guilin Karst spreads across southern China as a classic limestone karst landscape defined by dense clusters of steep-sided towers rising from low plains. The terrain formed as carbon-rich rainwater dissolved carbonate bedrock over long periods, leaving isolated rock pillars. Many karst towers reach heights of around 1,000 feet, showing dominant vertical erosion and rounded summits. Low basins and narrow valleys between towers reflect combined surface and underground drainage development. With its high tower density and active dissolution processes, Guilin Karst serves as a clear reference for studying limestone karst evolution and water-rock interaction. Bungle Bungles rise from the arid interior of Australia as a dense cluster of ancient sandstone domes shaped by long-term erosion. These formations developed from thick sand deposits laid down hundreds of millions of years ago and later uplifted and compacted. Each dome displays distinctive orange and dark gray banding, caused by mineral variation and surface weathering processes. Individual structures reach heights of up to about 820 feet and are separated by narrow gullies that channel vertical erosion. With its clear sedimentary structure and slow landscape change, Bungle Bungles serve as a strong reference for studying sandstone weathering and arid landform evolution. Lake Tekapo lies in New Zealand's South Island as a large glacial lake formed when retreating ice left a deep basin dammed by moraines. The lake covers about 32 square miles and sits near 2,330 feet above sea level within a dry alpine interior. Its distinctive turquoise color comes from fine rock flour suspended in the water produced by glacial grinding. Sparse vegetation and open slopes reflect strong winds and low precipitation in the surrounding landscape. With its clear glacial origin and visible sediment processes, Lake Tekapo serves as a practical reference for studying glacial lakes and cold region hydrology. Taksang Monastery clings to a near-vertical cliff in Bhutan as a mountain monastery constructed under extreme topographic constraints. The complex sits at an elevation of about 200 feet above sea level and stands nearly 3,000 feet above the valley floor on stable but fractured metamorphic rock. Buildings are arranged in stepped sections directly anchored into the cliff face, using compact foundations to distribute structural load. Strong winds and seasonal rainfall shape the use of sloped roofs, dense walls, and local materials to reduce weathering impact. With its clear adaptation to terrain and geology, Taksang Monastery serves as a strong reference for studying cliffside architecture and construction in high mountain environments. Lauterbrunnen Valley lies within the Swiss Alps as a narrow glacial valley carved by thick ice during repeated Ice Age periods. The valley extends for about 5 miles and was cut deeply into resistant bedrock by moving glaciers. Near vertical cliffs rise almost 1,000 feet on both sides, forming hanging plateaus that feed numerous waterfalls. Meltwater and seasonal rainfall continue to shape rock surfaces through slow but persistent erosion. With its classic U-shaped profile and exposed geology, Lauterbrunnen Valley serves as a strong reference for studying glacial erosion and alpine valley formation. Mount Assiniboine rises within the Canadian Rockies as a sharply pointed peak shaped by tectonic uplift and intense glacial erosion. The mountain reaches an elevation of about 118.70 feet and is composed mainly of ancient sedimentary rock layers that were folded and uplifted during major mountain building events. Steep faces and narrow ridge lines reflect deep glacial cutting that carved surrounding basins and hanging valleys. Seasonal snow, strong winds, and freeze-thaw cycles continue to sharpen rock edges and maintain the peak's angular form. With its exposed geology and clear glacial imprint, Mount Assiniboine serves as a strong reference for studying alpine peak evolution in the Rocky Mountains. Serengeti National Park. Each year, the plains of Serengeti in Tanzania host one of Earth's greatest natural events, the migration of over 2 million grazing animals across the endless savanna. Established in 1951, Serengeti National Park covers more than 5,680 square miles and remains one of the oldest and most intact ecosystems on the planet. Its alternating dry and rainy seasons drive a continuous migration cycle of wildebeests, zebras, and buffaloes, followed closely by hundreds of predators. A hidden element lies beneath the savanna, ancient basalt layers that retain moisture, allowing grasses to regenerate year-round despite harsh conditions. Serengeti stands as a living symbol of biological balance, where every species plays a role in nature's unending cycle of life.